Hi everyone, I'm Rick Place and I want to thank you for checking out my video blog. I'd like to talk to you a little bit today about the relative advantage of using multimedia in the classroom. First off, how can we define multimedia? Well, the Florida Center for Instructional Technology defines multimedia as the integration of text, graphics, animation, sound, and/or video. Now, one thing that I think is really important that we talk about before describing different ways multimedia can be used in the classroom is the proper integration of technology and multimedia in the classroom. Two problems I see quite often are a lack of training to use these devices or technologies, as well as unnecessary technology or multimedia usage just based on, well, we have to spend the money, so let's spend it. I think we in educational technology need to be good stewards of our finances as well as provide the proper instruction for students and teachers on how to get the most out of the implemented technology. One quick example I see of that is when I started in the role that I'm in now, which is I run an online alternative high school. We had just received a grant that was written by the program director for a video editing station. It was a big flat screen and computer to run it, a microphone to do some audio. And what I found was that it was really, really underutilized and basically just sat in the corner. The reason is, one, nobody ever showed any of the teachers how to utilize it. So in turn, none of the teachers were able to take that information onto the students and provide them with the training to make it an effective tool. Two, all of our students are issued MacBook Airs. So built into what they have is a webcam, video editing software using iMovie, and essentially what it was is an unnecessary piece of technology because all the tools that the students needed to create, to edit video lived inside the machines they used every day, and so that piece of technology was just unnecessary. Malia Herman wrote an article titled "District Smooths One-to-One Initiative by Heeding Others' Mistakes." And in that article, the CEO of the One-to-One Institute, Leslie Wilson, is quoted as saying, "There's a big difference between training and professional learning. Teachers have to learn new things, change old habits, and develop networks." And I think this is really important to recognize. There can be a huge advantage to teachers utilizing hypermedia, multimedia in their classrooms, but they must be knowledgeable as to how to use it, as well as having bought into the concept of why it's important. So how is hypermedia useful in our classrooms, multimedia? How do we implement it? One way that I see is really important is that multimedia allows students to access the world and cultures that they never would have been able to do otherwise. I've always loved the idea of partnering with a class in some far-off country and becoming digital pen pals with them. With tools like Skype, email, or even Google Docs, students can connect instantly, whereas in the past it used to be weeks worth of waiting after you mailed out a letter. You wait to hear back, you respond and send it off. Now we can do that simultaneously, where students can type and instantly receive responses from students anywhere on the globe. I think that's something that's awesome and opens up doors to cultures that they would never have been able to experience otherwise. Another way that could be utilized is through virtual field trips. Virtual field trips can provide students access to places that no other field trip could. Utilizing a tool like Google Earth, a teacher can take their class to the Eiffel Tower in Paris, on a guided tour of the Grand Canyon, or even follow along with the Apollo space missions to the moon. Another reason that I think multimedia could be used as an advantage in the classroom is moving students from consumers of content to creators of content. Dr. Roblier, in her book, describes a lesson in which students create and film sequels to their favorite books. Previously, this would not have been possible to do. The students would have been given a writing assignment where they would have needed to write content, write a paper essentially on how they thought their books could sequel to their favorite book. Whereas now, with the extension of filming and editing, most students will be more engaged in the process and won't even realize that we're still asking them to work on their writing skills by writing a script to go along with it. A third way that I think hypermedia allows us access into the classroom and a relative advantage is that it offers students the opportunity to develop their interests and passions. Just like in the example I listed above, in a lesson plan that allows students to film and edit, maybe that's the first opportunity that a student would have into, a foray into editing or filmmaking or script writing or any form of creative writing. Those extensions allow us the opportunity to provide students with different experiences, be it, with film, be it with mapping or geography, some interactive science lessons that you might bring into the classroom that they recognize, oh, I really have a passion for science. Whereas before, the photos in a textbook may not have been enough to inspire, whereas this multimedia offers them an opportunity to explore those passions in an entirely interactive and different way. One thing I think is really important for us to remember as educational technologists is that while quite often we're focused on what's the newest, biggest, brightest technology that we could implement, even when we have the best interest in mind and there's great applications, those aren't always feasible depending on budgets of where we work or the buy-in of administration or school board. But that doesn't mean that we can't implement multimedia into our classrooms. One example of this would be if you've ever worked in an elementary classroom and you've had silent reading time. You've noticed the difference if you have a silent reading time versus a silent reading time where you add quiet classical music playing in the background. That's an example of utilizing multimedia in a setting where it doesn't cost any money. You could play it on your phone, you could play it on a boombox. It doesn't matter, but just that addition to that helps students to focus, quiets them down. It's a great use of multimedia that really doesn't cost anything. There are lots of examples like that, and all it takes is a creative teacher willing to think outside the box and utilize multimedia in different ways in their instruction and the extension to their instruction. So thanks for watching, and I hope this was helpful to you guys. And please, if you have any comments or suggestions, add a comment below. Thanks. Have a great day.